Hello, welcome to another video. Today is a sketchbook tour for sketchbook number 5, and as you can see, it's a big boy. Yet again, there are no dates, but I'm pretty sure I did this one in college, which means it would have been around 2014, 2015. So that's how about the range for this one. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started flipping through it. It's gonna take a while. Like I said, it's pretty long, and I also have all this stuff in the back from the sketchbooks that fell apart. So starting right off the bat of some more OC stuff. I don't know if you guys are sick of OCs, but if you are, I would not continue watching my channel because all I pretty much draw is OCs. So yeah, these so OC, and then some other OCs, and they're going to be the reactions to her. This was her friend, and this was the guy that didn't like her. They didn't get along. These two were friends, but he was not friends with her. And just a body. More bodies. I was obviously trying to learn bodies at this time. I think this is when I got into Claymore, because that is very much the main character from Claymore's hairstyle. I don't know if you guys have read Claymore, but you should. It's really good. It's like a female-led battle manga. It's really cool. Just a head. Trying to practice some more bodies. I think this one is a lot of just practice. Some more bodies. Try to do a profile one right there. Not the best. And also the hand is backwards. The thumb is like in the back. I mean, I guess your hand could go that way, but it's actually kind of like, it's stiff and unnatural. Chibi Henry. Henry is a character from a story I was writing. I believe that she was supposed to be taking over like her family's mafia, like the mob or whatever. Yeah, and then she recruited some more characters later, which I think are on this next page. Yes, so Joe was like the hitman that she hired. That was like her second in command. And then Lee. I mean, they were all hitmen, I believe. Harper was also hitman. And then the only thing I remember about any of these characters really is that Lee was supposed to have vitiligo, and the vitiligo had started on his hands, which is why he always wears gloves. But I remember these characters. I don't really remember too much about what the story was about, but other than being the mafia, but they're really cute. And it's just Henry again, and then Paisley, who worked as an underground fighter, and that's how she made her money for the mafia. Just a cute little drawing of a zombie guy. And it says, he's actually a bit cuter than I anticipated he'd be. And you know what? I still think that he's actually pretty cute. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll redraw him, but he actually is pretty cute, even though he has no feet and no fingers. Oh, and there we go, personifying things again. I was gonna do emotions. I can't remember if this was before or after Inside Out. So if it was 2014 or 2015, when did Pixar's Inside Out come out? I actually have no idea, and I'm not gonna look it up. But yeah, I tried to draw shoes. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I very obviously erased them. Embarrassed, not embarrassment, just embarrassed. He looks pretty embarrassed. I wonder what pen I was using. I think this was a fine liner, but I don't know what kind. I like how thick the lines are. This guy was happiness, and his hand is once again backwards. Yes, that's a well. That's a. If you're gonna do a peace sign, it's usually the other way around. This guy is jealousy. Don't know why his shirt is half tucked, but it is. And then sadness, which I guess is she's represented by, I think sadness and depression are a little bit different. So I think she's supposed to be like a depression outfit. Love, and I tried to work in some shapes in there by trying to make her hair heart-shaped. Hate, I think I remember I did it as a character with two sides because hate could look like anything, but then I think I decided to change it Yeah, hate to a guy with a sign. I don't know about you guys, but that seems pretty hateful to me, just a guy with a sign. Confidence, she's wearing a pretty fancy dress. Not sure what this was for. It's another lady. She's cute. Not sure if I'm super into her lips, but more practicing. A dog. I'm not a furry, I promise. It's a very furry looking eye. Luke. Okay, more characters. So, I do remember this story. Okay, so him and the next couple of characters you're gonna see are actually from a story that I wrote. And it was supposed to be about 6 kids who were actually reincarnated fallen gods or whatever. And so they were supposed to work together to regain their memories of their godhood, so that way they could get their powers back and defeat one of their older siblings who had come back to take over the world. And they were all siblings, and obviously they're reincarnated. They're not related at all in the story, but they all have like a sibling dynamic. So this is Luke. He's named after Luke Skywalker, because I was like, what names are associated with this guy? Because he was supposed to be like a sky god, and the only thing I could find at the time was Luke Skywalker. If I was gonna redo these characters, I would probably change his name to something different, like Avian or something, but I don't know. Mateo, he was supposed to be the sea god, and he was like the character that I liked the most from the story, just because I liked his like kind of punk aesthetic, and also he was like the character who seemed like a jerk but was actually the most caring. I just like that trope. Tiara, I guess. I think her name was supposed to be Tara, but I think I added the I to be fancy. But she was supposed to be a goddess of the earth. Aiden, she was a goddess for fire, and she was supposed to be like cool and rebellious, you know, like she can't be tamed, just like fire. Natasha, Natasha was supposed to be like a goddess of not life, but actually like rebirth. And then Bram, he was the youngest and the smallest, and he was supposed to be the god of death, and that's why he is so sad all the time. And Bram was actually the main character of the story because he was the one who could hear their parents. So the parents, the godly parents that they had actually died. And so since Bram is the god of death, he can hear his parents speak. And so his parents spoke to him, right? And they were like, hey, it's gonna sound crazy, but you're actually a reincarnated god, and we need you to gather your siblings, right? And go around and collect them so that way you guys can defeat your older brother. And he had like this book that he would carry around and show the other siblings so that they would believe him. And this is actually, okay, I'm gonna flip this real quick so you guys can see these next couple of pages. Okay, so as you can see, this is like, just like a sketch of their very first meeting between Bram and Luke. He does go and get the siblings in birth order. I don't know why he does that. That's just what I thought about at the time. So obviously I'm trying to draw a profile. Not great at profile now. Not great at it then either, but I was trying my best. I promise my profiles look better than that now. But yeah, this is just the first meeting between him and Luke. So he recruits Luke, and then they go and recruit Mateo, who is smoking. I don't remember how old they were supposed to be. I think they were supposed to be teenagers, so I have no idea why he's smoking. I guess because he's like a bad boy type. But you shouldn't smoke, kids. It's really bad for you, and it smells really bad. And then they go and recruit Tara, or Tiara, or whatever. And he's happy, because he's like a happy-go-lucky guy. And Mateo's like, ooh, this is so stupid. And Tara's like, oh. And then they go and get Aiden, and she's super into it. She's super into it, and then she hits Mateo with her skateboard for comic relief, I guess. And then they go and meet Natasha, and Natasha, they're all confused because Natasha actually believes him right off the bat. The rest of them needed some convincing, obviously except for Aiden, because like I said, she's super into it. But Natasha was like, yeah, I know, because like I said, she's the goddess of not life, but of rebirth, so she can remember a bit of their past lives. You know what I mean? This is them reading the book. Oh, Natasha's staring off into space because she's supposed to be blind. I don't remember why I chose that, but yeah, she's supposed to be blind in the story, so this is them. They're reading the book together so that way they can learn their lore, and it's going to help them regain their godly memories. Oh, and they're all looking at Mateo because they're in a library, and so Tara's like, why are you smoking in a library? And they're all like, well, and he's all like, oops, I didn't mean to be smoking in a library. And this is them starting to discover their powers. So since Luke is the god of the sky, he has like wind powers. And since Mateo is god of the sea, he has water powers. But then he loses control and he splashes himself. He was the funny character because he was my favorite, if we're being honest. There's Tara, she's growing a flower. She's got some earth. And then there's Bram demonstrating his own powers by killing the flower, which is not cool. Everybody's mad at him because I'm like, hey, that's not cool. But then he decides to show off Natasha's powers by giving her the flower, and she can bring it back to life. Obviously, it's not the same flower. It is a new flower born from the old flower. You know what I mean? So I think that's all of those. Okay, that's all of those ones. And now we're just gonna get to some, I guess, character drawings. So this is the boys from that story all together. This is Joe, again, from that story about Henry, the mafia family. I tried to redraw Luke because when I was coming up with the stories, like the creation myths, basically, of how the gods were created by their parents who are dead at this point, but back when they were alive, they created the children with like a purpose, and so the purpose is that they were created for actually fades into their character flaws, and through overcoming their character flaw, like their main flaw, they would be able to regain their godly power. So Luke was created by their parents because they wanted a child, and so he's very childish. So I changed the design to show off that he's actually like, you know, a guy who's like still into cartoons and stuff, and like friendship bracelets and silly hats. Just give him more of like a childish personality. And then Mateo, I just thought I'd give him a cooler punk design, just alternate punk design. His flaw was that he was created as like a companion to the first child because the first child was lonely. But since he was created basically for that other child, he felt like he had like a duty to always be looking after him. And so it became like an obsession. And so that's like his thing that he needs to work out. Aiden, I just gave her a hat. That's it. And then Aiden's flaw was that as a goddess, she was created out of like a raging wildfire. So she's kind of like out of control, and she kind of has to learn to rein herself in. Tara, her character flaw is kind of like weird to think about, because compared to the other ones, it's a little bit less concrete. So she was created just because that the couple just wanted a daughter, and so she basically has like forced all of like female roles onto herself. Like she will change the type of person, like her personality kind of to fit what other people around her think is like what's like the definition of like being a girl, right? Which is like a bit harder to like grow from, I think. Well, I guess I never really figured out how she grew from that, but I think now I would say that she would just have to learn how to be herself and stop trying to live up to other people's standards of just what they think a girl should be, and she should define her own sense of womanhood. Would be, if I was gonna think about it now, I don't think I would ever rewrite this story, just because I think coming up with your own mythos is kind of hard. It was supposed to be Natasha, and I never finished Bram's, obviously. This one is just a guy. Characters from a story I was writing. This one's Melody. She was a vampire. This is Jasmine. She was a witch. Medea. Okay, so that Medea is actually from a different story. Not from this story. She's actually from a different story that I was gonna write about. So it was actually gonna be a story from like the villain's perspective. So it was supposed to be about a competition where they're trying to race basically to get something, and it was supposed to be from like the point of view of like the guy who would typically be the rival to a protagonist, right? So he was the kid who was raised in like the magical world, who was like snooty and stuff. So basically think like the Draco to Harry Potter, right? Except if it was from his perspective. But he still loses in the end, right? And so Medea was like the evil girl character that was always hanging out with them. You know, there's always like an evil girl, a henchman, etc., right? So she was the evil girl. Wily was the protag, but like the villain protag. So he was the snooty kid. A different version of Wily. I think I prefer the first one. Just a drawing of nothing. And then Santiago. I believe Santiago was the henchman character for Wily's villain thing. Also, you can see this is where I discovered using a blue pencil for an undersketch. Yeah. Doesn't mean that I don't think my drawings were any better because of it, but I did a blue undersketch. This is a side view, but just a test. Just some doodles I did with, I had this like pencil that had like square, it was like a rectangular lead. So instead of being a circle, it was a rectangle. And I was trying to see how I liked the way that it looked. And I didn't really like it. I never really used it after that. Yeah. Sorry about the sticky notes, but my name is on there. Rune. Okay, Rune was also in the same story as Wily. Rune was actually going to be the character. You know, there's always like an evil character that ends up betraying their evil friends and getting redeemed by the good guy. And so Rune was supposed to be that character. She was supposed to be working with with Wily as like an evil villain person trying to win the competition, but she was going to turn on them and go join the good guys, who are obviously the antagonists in the story because it's from the villain's point of view. This was apparently a horrible drawing. I don't think it's that bad. I just think his hairline needs to be moved up a little bit, or a lot of it. Another character I had for a story. I don't know what AS stands for. Probably his name. I like that eye. Some doodles. Still trying to figure out those blue under sketches. Oop, this was actually not drawn by me. This was drawn by a friend of mine when she came over to my house one time. I just covered, it says her name, so that's why I covered it up, but she did a really good job. I felt like she was always much better than me at drawing, but she actually went to college for drawing. She went to college to be an animator. I don't know if she's animating now, but her art was obviously very good, and I'm sure it still is. Trying to figure out bodies by using shapes. It's not exactly how you do that, but I appreciate the effort. There's a lot going on there. Oh, I'm gonna try this one out, and then I do this one. So, not great, but I appreciate myself for trying things. Oh, also look, it was December of 2015. So I guess all that stuff from before was before December 26th of 2015. Which means I would have been 19? I would have been 19. Not sure these are the drawings of a 19-year-old, but if I had drawn more consistently, because as you can see, I only had 5 sketchbooks in between being 14 and 19. Imagine only doing 1 sketchbook per year. Now I have like almost 50 sketchbooks from the ages of 19 to 27. That's a lot more than 1 per year. So that's good, I think. A drawing of Kelsey. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't remember this character at all. I don't remember the story, what the story was supposed to be about. I don't remember anything, which is really weird for me. Because usually if I'm making a character, I remember it pretty well. I think the reason why I don't remember this character is because I actually didn't write anything for her. I think that I just drew her with an idea in mind, and I never wrote anything down. So you guys, remember to write down your story ideas or you will forget them. I feel really bad because it's a female monster design, and most people really don't. Well, some people are into female monsters, but a lot of people are afraid to make female monsters. But not me, apparently. I'm all in. Sebastian. Another character, I guess, was in the same story as Kelsey. Don't know what it was about. Like a little comic. Eyes. Someone's in the bed. Oop, and she's drooling. And then reaching out. And then he wakes up. She's confused. She's like, oh no, you saw me. And then, oh, you guys can't see that page. Hold on, hold on. Oh, never mind. You can kind of see it. Just gonna pull it to the side a little bit so you can see. He's like, oh, what's going on? And she's like, oh, I didn't mean to wake you up. I have no idea what this story is about. Really, I genuinely and truly. I'm sure it was great, though. Nothing. A guy with a rope. Hope he's not planning anything nefarious with that. Oh, a guy with a knife. And it's got blood on it. He's definitely planning something nefarious. Or he's done something nefarious. Those were actually two OCs I had. They were rivals. But they were like roommates. But they were like murderers. And they hated each other because they're like, your method of killing is different than mine. So we're rivals or whatever, even though we live in the same house. I don't know why you would live in the same house as a guy who murders people. But I guess if you're a guy who murders people, you kind of want someone who's not going to snitch on you for murdering other people. But I don't know. It's just in that edgy phase. These next few ones are me trying to practice bodies. So they're not really characters or anything. They're just like pose studies. So they're going to be like pretty wonky. Trying to draw someone running. Still can't draw shoes. But I was trying. She's sitting down. She's stretching. She has like no shape to her head. Look at that head. Like draw a circle. Draw a circle. And it'll be much easier, guys. I'm telling you right now. If you just draw a circle, it'll be much easier. A circle or like an oval. Whatever. I gotta try to draw someone walking again. She's trying to do squats. Oh, she's putting it all out there, upside down, from behind. This guy is sad. Poor him. But also, I would be sad too if my neck did not connect to my head and my head didn't connect to my body. Just floating. Tried to draw a circle though. She's stretching the leg out. Oh, that guy cut his own head off. There's no blood, so I don't think this is inappropriate for YouTube. So hopefully it does not take this video down. You guys can kind of infer what's going on there. But there's no blood, so I think it's okay. These guys were some more OCs that I had. Are you surprised that there's even more OCs in this book? So basically these guys, the small guy is like the Antichrist. So he's half human, half demon. But he's supposed to like bring about the apocalypse. And this guy is what's known as a Nephilim, which means that he is half human, half angel. And he's his best friend. He was abandoned by his parents. Well, by his earthly parent, by his mom. Was he abandoned? I'm trying to remember. I think actually she was killed for having a Nephilim baby. Because part of his backstory is that he doesn't have wings. where he thinks he doesn't have wings. The only angel powers that he has is like a more resistant body to like damage, but he doesn't have like healing powers or anything, and that's because his powers were sealed by an angel who thought he was an abomination, but he couldn't kill him because of who his father is or whatever. It's complicated, but yeah. And so he basically picked him up on the street because they're both like half-breeds, and he was like, I wanted to be my friend. And so he came and moved in with the demons who were raising him to be the Antichrist. So yeah, they're best buds. Drawing I never finished. She's having a good time. Thumbs up. Do you guys remember those like Converse that were heels? That's what I was trying to draw. Oop, this is me trying to do a chibi style. I'm still not great at chibis. There's something about the head to body proportion I'm just not great at, and I think that's pretty obvious here. The whole thing about chibis is big head, small body, not giant head and same like average size body. That's not it. Still not it. Well, I tried. A ballerina. I remember liking this piece a lot. But now it's not the worst, but that neck is insane. A guy in the army. This is not bad. I wish I would have worked a little bit more on his fingers. A little kid. Oh, and he's looking at the cow on his shirt. That's cute. I don't really draw a lot of children, but I guess I had a phase where I was trying to draw children. Yeah, another little kid. I hope they look like children. I think they look like kids. Some characters. So she's confused. You guys know the Red String of Fate. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you've never heard of the Red String of Fate. But it's like basically, I'm thinking this is from Japan. It's like there's this idea that there's a red string of fate that ties you to your soulmate. So she's more confused about the red string of fate, and he's more like, he knows what it means, so he's like trying to break it because he's like, I don't like her. Obviously he does though, because they're soulmates. Same idea with these characters, but they also don't really get along, so she's trying to strangle him with it, I guess. These characters were sisters. Okay, another character from a story. Are you guys sick of stories yet or hearing about them? I hope not. His name is Luis. I believe, is it Luis or Lewis? It's spelled Lewis, but I think I remember it was supposed to be Luis. But I don't know. I guess we'll just say Lewis for now because that's how it's spelled. That he was like a kid who was like nerdy or whatever, and he ends up getting bit by a vampire and turned into a vampire. And after he's turned into a vampire, he's like a cool guy. He's supposed to be really short though. He's like 5'2" or something. And then his life is like going so great as a vampire, but eventually something happens, and then he becomes like really sick. I actually don't really remember what happens in the story. I remember there being like an avalanche and him being like trapped under snow, and he finds like two kids who are trapped under the snow. And this is actually the kid. So this little girl is the girl that he finds trapped under the snow. And like he's trapped under the snow with these two kids, and they're freezing to death, and they can't get out of the snow because he is weak from not having any blood for a long time. So there's like a whole scene where he's trying to not eat these children. So it's this girl and her brother. I believe her brother dies of hypothermia, but she makes it out alive. But I think I remember that she didn't have any parents, and that's the reason why they were out in the snow in the first place. It's because they were like orphans or something. I can't remember. But after she gets older, because the second book happens when he takes her in and they like move to somewhere. I don't remember. It's kind of weird because he's only like 16. He's like in high school. So it's weird to just take a random child you met and just move to a different city. And she's like, she's taller than him because he's very small. But she's fond of him like an older brother. So she's patting his head. but he becomes kind of like grumpy older brother vibes. More characters that were in love. These characters were sisters. They're twins. More characters who are in love. Oh, just covering up the names of these because I wrote their names. They're based off a pair of kids that I would babysit at the time. I haven't seen them in a long time, which is kind of sad. And I've made myself sad, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much. But that's not really what they look like because I'm not really great at capturing likeness. And also, look at that. It's like curved here and it's like a straight line there. Like, come on, guy. A drawing that the older brother did in my sketchbook. When I was younger, I would just like give people my sketchbook to look through and like draw in. Like if there was a kid that I was babysitting, and still with the kids that I babysit, I don't really give them my sketchbook anymore just because I don't want kids looking through my sketchbook. But back then I was like, whatever, you can draw my sketchbook. Now I just give loose leaf pieces of paper, which is what I would recommend. I have like a bunch of loose leaf paper, so I'm like, here you go, have some markers, go draw with those. A drawing of my sister. And a drawing of my other sister. Why are they both angry? I don't know. Another drawing by that kid of someone at the dentist. And they have cavities, I guess. An upside down drawing. Look at that. This, another one that's supposed to be upside down. A girl doing a back bend. I don't know what it is. I never give them enough forehead. I still struggle with making sure they have enough forehead. Another back bend, but only like halfsies. This person was going to be doing a push-up. Oh, really trying to get that push-up down. And eventually, I thought I did well enough to get that push-up done. It says exercise? Yeah, I guess a push-up is exercise. Characters. She was in the story. They were not really in the story, but I just designed her a family anyway. Another character and their family. I just wanted to do family drawings, but for like siblings. I don't remember what this was for. Oop, here we go. Already getting started on doing redraws. I've talked about this before in the past. I really love a redraw, and it's gone all the way back to my beginning of my art journey. I drew this Cheshire Cat literally in the last sketchbook tour. Little person just sitting. Ooh, ballroom dancing. Some more ballroom dancing. Another redraw of my very first character, Strips. There's a stereotypical mummy attack. A character with a little kid. Someone sitting at a desk. More people who are in love. They're holding hands. More people who are in love. There was a drawing of a zombie on the other page, but it was actually too much blood, I think. So we're just going to skip to this one. A little bit less blood. That guy was a demon. Do you guys know about like 2P stuff? I don't know if I've already talked about how I liked Hetalia. I'm not going to get too into what Hetalia is. But Hetalia did have this concept of like an AU. Right, where they were like based off of, I think this was a fandom thing, but the creator did like they showed like the characters' alternate color schemes that they had planned, and so the fandom had kind of like taken it and been like, oh, what if they were like the evil versions of them, right? And like not just evil, but like they flipped the personalities basically. So I was like, what if I did that with my own characters? And so I did that. Nothing there. Okay, so that's the end of the sketchbook. I guess we can go ahead and get into all these extra bits. It's actually a lot of extra bits, so just give me 1 second. Alrighty, so now we're into all of the extra parts that I had at the end of that sketchbook. This was from other sketchbooks that I had that fell apart, and also I had like a sketchbook that was more of a sketch pad. So basically it means it was just like bound at the top with like a piece of glue, but that 100% fell apart. I would not recommend sketch pads. Just I feel like they're very flimsy and the adhesive never sticks. I feel like sketch pads are meant to be like ripped out as opposed to like a bound sketchbook or something. So if you want your sketchbook to last, I'd recommend getting a sketchbook, not a sketch pad. But here's some redraws of some characters that you probably recognize from the last sketchbook tour if you watched that one, of my number guys. I just wanted to change up the style for them, I guess. So that's 0 and 3. I think I let a child draw on this. I would not recommend letting children draw on your stuff. This was 4. Oh, he's so cute. He's still my favorite out of those number designs. I just think he looks so earnest. I think that was going to be number 1, but I never finished. Ooh, a drawing. It's folded up. Give me a second. Okay. Probably need some background for this one. I'm not sure how to talk about this without sounding cringe. So I'm just going to talk about it and sound cringe. This is a drawing of Rock Lee. You're probably like, Rock Lee does not look like that. That is true. This is a drawing of Rock Lee based off an AU I was writing for fan fiction. It's still up on the internet. I'm not going to tell you where to find it because I wrote it like 10, 15 years, not 10, 15. Oh, no, oh my God. If it was in 2015 or 2016, it's less than 10 years ago. It's like 8 years ago, which is not long enough. So please don't try to find it. But basically, it's about him and Naruto and Hinata leaving the village and starting their own village. Just because they were my favorite characters, and I thought that the people in the village did not treat them very nicely, and I wanted them to go have fun outside of the village. That's all I'm going to say about that. A drawing of a genie. It's probably about when I discovered white gel pen. So you can see I used it to outline her. I like the colors. I feel like I could redraw this. It'd be pretty cute. A comic. So let's see. He's looking. He looks. He sees something. He sees a girl. He's like, I don't like her. And she looks at him and she waves. Hello. And then he gets embarrassed because he says he doesn't like her, but that's not true. Drawing of a mermaid. A merman. That's exciting. Shaking it up. A drawing of a ninja. I don't know if that was Blackthorn or what. Ooh, I remember I used to have this brush pen, and I would use it all the time because I thought that made the lines look cool. I was not very good at using it, obviously, because the whole point of the brush pen is line variation. I would not say there's very much variation in those lines. A middle finger and blood. It's another mafia story, a mafia AU. I don't know. I think mafia AUs are like problematic now, which I can understand because you don't want to like glorify violence, like real life violence people suffer from. So, drawing of a character with some swords. A drawing of me talking about how I felt like I was supposed to draw my friend, but I can't remember what she looks like. Drawing of a character, the same character, but as a firefighter for some reason. Drawing from a kid. A drawing I never finished. Drawing of that same character, but she's underwater. I feel like her hair should have fanned out in a more flowy way and a less spiky way, but what can you do? I don't know what that is. A drawing of Spider-Man. A drawing of another character. Trying to draw that guy again. But oh gosh, this like the proportions of that is so off. A drawing of my friend. Her wizard house was Slytherin, so she wanted to be drawn as a Slytherin, so I drew her as a Slytherin. Another drawing of my friend. She was supposed to be in like the Hunger Games, maybe? But she wanted to be an archer? I can't remember. I think she wanted to just be drawn in as an archer. Another drawing of that character, but she's falling. Oh, this is just some more post studies. A drawing of a scarecrow again. Some spooky, spooky blood. Another character drawing. This is when I started sketching in pink. I'm not sure if I go back to pencil after this. I guess we'll find out next week, but this is where I started sketching out in a pink color. And I think I never went back. Another mermaid. I think this one was quick and fast because I drew the circle overhead, but I did not align it. Another drawing of that character falling. This is when I was like turning like character, like, what's it called? Post studies, and just turning them into my character so I can make it more fun. Which I would recommend. Same girl. One I didn't finish. Sorry if I'm going fast. I'm getting tired. It's late at night. Another character. This was a series of drawings that I did of just like girls, but their heads are emojis. At the time, I thought they were really funny just because my sister thought that they were really creepy and she didn't like them. So I drew like 4 or 5 of them just because the idea made me laugh. There's another one. Oof, one that I never finished because that looks terrifying. Don't like that one. I don't like that one at all. Another one. I don't know what that outfit is, but like super high heels, tights, a t-shirt, and jean shorts. I don't know what this outfit is. It's stuck together. A drawing of a sheep. I think my friend asked me to draw a sheep, and I did. Another emoji character. Another emoji girl drawing. I think I uploaded this one, and I actually have this one on a phone case. Just because my mom actually bought it. I uploaded it to like Redbubble or something, and she just bought it for me. It's not gonna fit any phone ever because this came out like almost 8 years ago. So you know how they do. Another mermaid. Another mermaid. I think this was for like mermaid one year. I was trying to, or like a mermaid AU. I was trying to force myself into. I'm gonna tell you right now. You probably never ever see me do mermaid because I've tried multiple times and I just can't do it. I think I hate drawing mermaids. I don't know what it is. If it's like the tail or something, but I'm not really super into it. A merman. A guy who's slouching a lot. I like the angle of his slouch. It's pretty good. Another merman. And I think that is everything. So just give me 1 second. Alrighty. So that is the end of Sketchbook 5. Like I said, it was actually a pretty long one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next week with even more videos. It's been a whole month. We made it through a whole month of videos. And we didn't forget to post even one time. And actually, we even got a little bit of a buffer. So I've been trying to post, finish the videos like a day in advance. So that way I could post them without having to worry about them for the day. So I've been able to do that a little bit. So if anything, we're becoming a little bit more efficient. All right. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a nice weekend.